See, words without actions, they're just that. They're words.
Before I moved to Washington, I actually lived in Texas, in El Paso. And before then, I lived in California. So I moved to El Paso, Texas to go train under a coach and with another athlete who in CrossFit was really, really good. So I wanted to push myself against her and get better over time, obviously under my coach. And at the time I was training over there, she actually moved a few weeks into me living there. So now I'm over there and I'm questioning myself, am I supposed to be here still? Because before that, I prayed to God. I was asking him, okay, God, if this is the right decision, allow me to feel peace moving over here and just me being okay with the decision to move over there and my family and just my friends and all that stuff. So I started praying to God. I was like, God, well, it doesn't seem like I'm supposed to be here anymore. So please show me where I need to be next. Do I need to go back to California? Or am I supposed to stay here and just push through? Or what am I supposed to do? I called Xavier randomly one day, and this is about a day or two after she moved. And I called Xavier and I was like, hey dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm actually driving from California to Washington right now. And I was like, what are you doing that for? He's like, well, I had a dream. I had to go find this building. And I was like, oh dude, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, so I'm gonna go hang out with Churro, Pastor Aaron, stay there, but I'm gonna be trying to find this building. And then we were talking for a long time. I think it was like for an hour or two on the phone. And out of nowhere, Xavier said, hey, if I buy you a plane ticket, would you come out here to Washington to hang out with us?
The day I took off, 2 hours into my drive, Johnny called me and we ended up having a really good 2-hour conversation just about life and everything. And before he hung up, I had actually asked him, hey, if I buy you a plane ticket to Washington, would you be down to come and hang out for a week while I find this building or look for this building? And at first he said nah. But as the day went on, about an hour out from Tri-Cities, he had decided that, yeah, I'll come to Washington. So I bought his ticket, flew him out here, picked him up the next morning, and because I am somewhat budgety stingy with my money, and for me to just willingly pay $500 for someone to come out to Washington, I knew that couldn't be me. But in the end, Johnny calling me during that 12-hour drive is what changed his life.
I forgot who said it, but they said, what if you moved here to Washington to help with the church? And my first initial thought was, no, there's no way I'm doing that. And I'm going back home, going back to California. This is crazy. I moved to Texas. Now I'm here in Washington. I want to go just back home to California and be comfortable where I'm at, like where I was born. I just want to be comfortable. Me and Xavier went to go visit this gym that was barely a mile down the street from Pastor Aaron's house. And come to find out, the owner knew who I was, and he opened the gym up to us with open arms and was just totally for us using the gym, just being there, using it whenever we wanted to. He was all for it. And this was the first moment that we met him. So at that moment I was like, okay, God, I know what you're telling me. I know that you want me here, but I just don't know if Pastor Aaron is gonna allow me to stay here in his home. And I don't have anywhere else to stay. I think it was the last night I was here in Washington before I went back to California. I asked Pastor Aaron, I was like, hey, Pastor, I've been really talking to God and I feel like he wants me to be here in Washington to help you start this church and help you with the church and the ministry. Pastor Aaron said, yeah, you could stay here, no worries. Like, you could totally stay here. You could sleep in Churro's room. Yeah. He's like, you know what? I was talking to my wife the night before you said this to me. And I told her, you know what? I think Johnny's gonna be staying out here in Washington. I don't know why, but I have a feeling he's gonna be staying out here in Washington. I've been saved now for, I wanna say the past 9, close to 10 years I've been saved. And within this last year of being here in Washington, I've grown the most I've grown in Christ than in the past 9 years being saved. And it's insane because I think it has a lot to do with fully trusting in God now with everything. Me learning who God is, his heart, his patience, his understanding, his love for people, the people that I'm surrounded by, this new family that I have here. He's just showing me himself in a lot of new ways like I've never seen before. And once you learn who he is, you learn so much more about yourself through him. So I'm learning a lot about just people in general and God's heart for them. And with that, I feel like I'm growing and maturing to be more like him and try to walk like him daily.
God our Father proves his love to us in his children and that while we were still sinners, he demonstrates his love through an action.
This is what it means to live revival driven.